Hello and welcome to Yoga with Alexis. So today you have chosen to watch this video, which is all about embodied listening. Listening with your body, okay? So this is a session that is suitable for PMLD, so children and adults with PMLD, and it's suitable for those who are carers, parents, teachers or staff who are with these children and young people and adults with PMLD. So let's get comfortable, get everything you need, get your blocks, your cushions, your mats, your chairs and your atmosphere, your environment ready so that we can have a nice, easy session together. Okay, my friends, let's begin, shall we? So we begin, as always, by getting comfortable and getting settled into our environment. And there are many ways in which we can do this. So the most obvious things would be to maybe switch your lights down low, maybe close curtains or blinds if there's a lot of natural light coming in. You really want to create an atmosphere that is not too overwhelming for any children or adults with PMLD, because although natural light might be quite pleasant for you, it can actually be really quite too much overwhelming and oversensitive for a child or an adult with profound multiple learning difficulties. So make sure that you turn lights down low and also be sensitive to the sense of sound. So maybe switching off any devices, televisions, computers that don't need to be on. Just really trying to bring your environment to as still, to a place of stillness as much as possible. And this of course includes your own being. So if you yourself can maybe speak a little bit more quietly or just stop talking altogether if you are able to do that. I'm hoping that this video will be as accessible as possible to as many people and contexts as possible, so whether you're watching this in your classroom or watching this at home, hopefully you'll be able to find some use and benefit from these practices. So just getting ready, and everything I say from here onwards will be as guided meditation and as guided yoga. So even as I'm telling you and guiding you how to set yourselves up, think of that as part of the practice. It's not separate from the practice, it's part of the practice. Getting ready, getting settled, that is to be done mindfully and meditatively. So we're not rushing to get into meditation. We ease gracefully into a state of meditation. So just getting your chairs, getting your bodies settled. Yes. So whether you're sat one-to-one, if you have a child and a staff member on a one-to-one ratio, that's great. If not, then it's okay, that's totally fine. But just ensure that everything is the way it needs to be. Maybe placing things mindfully as well. So if you're getting chairs, try not to scrape those chairs across the floor. Just being really sensitive to your ears and your eyes and your body as you sit down on the chair that you are going to be, seated upon. Maybe feel the texture of that chair. Feel the texture of your clothing. Feel that sense of touch and feel your feet coming to the ground. Really come into your body. This is all about embodied listening. So that means in listening to your own experience. And as you do these things, as you begin to listen to my voice and quiet down your own voice and quiet down the fluctuations of your mind, you will find that you yourself are beginning to feel more calm and settled and peaceful. Sure, the mind might still be chatting away, and that's okay. It will come to a stillness when it's ready. We're in no rush for that. But just taking these moments to get settled. The first third, or maybe even half of this session is going to be about you as staff members, as teachers, as carers, and as parents. And you might be thinking, a whole half of a session on just the adult. Why? Well, I'll tell you why. It's really important, because embodied listening, it's not about listening, just listening to the pupil or the young person or the adult. It's about listening to yourself simultaneously as you listen to the pupil with the pupil. So hopefully by now you have come to a state of stillness. Hopefully your environment is a little bit more settled. Hopefully there's a sense of stillness in the air, in the room, a sense of silence, no more distracting or unnecessary sounds. Really listening now. Listening. Listening with your ears, listening with your eyes, listening with your body to your whole experience, your whole sensory experience. And invite the pupil into this experience. Become aware of them. And as you're aware of the child or the children or the young people or the adults who you're with, listen to your own energy. Okay? So this is the practice of embodied listening. And you're going to continue to do this as I guide you. You're hearing my voice, you're hearing my tone of voice as well as the words that I'm saying. You're hearing my energy, but you're also receiving the energy of the environment that you're in. You're receiving the energy of the pupil or pupils or young people whom you're with in this moment. So embodied listening is all about the communication that takes place between two or more people. And in embodied listening, in the practice of embodied listening, you are coming into a relational field with another person. So you can begin to look at the child or the young person right now, or if you're with 2 or 3 people, begin to establish that communication, but don't do anything. Don't feel the need to jump right in to touch and massage. You're just watching, observing, and you're also receiving. It doesn't matter if they're not looking directly at you. You can invite them to, they will in their own time. There's no rush for that to happen just yet. So right now you're in a relational field. In your body and the body of the person who is sitting in front of you. So every person has their own relational field. Right now, in this room, on my own, I have my own relational field. There is no one else in this room. So I have my own relational field. When another person comes into the room, there's another relational field that comes with that person. So imagine this as you're sitting with your child or with your pupils. that there are two relational fields, or maybe there's more than two relational fields, but each person has a relational field. When those two people come into the presence of each other, there's a third relational field that takes place, that manifests. It's the energetic space between you and the other person or people whom you're sitting with. That third relational field it exists because there's at least two people who are present. So you're not trying to jump into that world of the other being. You're not trying to leave your field behind and get into theirs. Neither are they trying to get into yours and escape from their own field. You're in your own field, but as you meet the other child, a third relational field will happen between you. And I understand that this could be quite abstract language, and that's fine. But just imagine that you're carrying a bubble or an aura around your body and your mind. The more you listen to your own energy, the more you listen to your own body, your own heartbeat, your breath, your mind, all of these different aspects of your being, physical and mental, the more clean your field will be. So your field will be still, it will be clean, it will be spacious, it will be still. And you're bringing that field to this other being. This is very powerful communication. So become aware of that field that you are creating. So you are listening to your body, you're listening to your heartbeat, you're listening to your breath, perhaps you're even beginning to breathe a little bit more deeply now. Perhaps you're beginning to slow down the chatter that's happening in your mind. Just dropping into the sensations of your body. And there are so many ways you can do this. You can just simply feel the contact that your body is making with the earth. This helps you to bring your consciousness out of your head. Imagine that perhaps all of this chatter is going on up here, and you're bringing yourself into your body. That's why it feels grounding to feel the ground beneath you, because it's far away from this place up here. You're bringing that awareness down, you're grounding yourself. So listen to yourself, listen to your mind, listen to your heartbeat, listen to your breath. You can even listen to your temperature, the temperature of your body. Whatever helps you, anchors you to be in this moment fully, bringing all of yourself with you. You're not neglecting anything. So in this relational field that you are creating, there's all of these different things happening. There's the sensation of your breath, your body and your mind. And you're carrying that with you into this environment, into this atmosphere. So you're not leaving anything behind. So don't misunderstand this when I say, listen to yourself, bring your energy into the field. You're not getting rid of anything that you might not want. You're accepting that just as it is, as best you can, which isn't always easy. But if you feel tired, frustrated, anxious, these things are okay. They're part of the human condition. So you're just noticing and observing them, and you understand and acknowledge that you're carrying them into this experience of the present moment. The more that you listen to these things, you'll find that the easier it is to hold them, and the quicker they tend to go, actually, because you're not resisting the experience of simply being a human being, as we all are, who happens to be experiencing tiredness, fatigue, frustration, worries, It's part of being human. So you're not resisting any of that. As you let go, you'll find that it will move through you and it will leave in its own time. You're in no rush for it to leave. But as you accept it as part of your experience, it tends to leave quicker and more easier. So you're acknowledging your energy, you're acknowledging your breath, you're acknowledging your thoughts and your body and everything else that makes up you. So you're being present with yourself, cleansing that field that you are carrying. And then you're going to begin to become acutely aware of the field that the other person is bringing with them, whom you're sitting with. So maybe they're not looking at you, and don't feel like that they're not engaging, because they are. Eye contact is a powerful form of communication, but it's not the only form of communication. So just be aware of their body. Be in your body as you become aware of their body. Trust that this is worthwhile. Trust that it's not just sitting doing nothing. This is a meditative practice, and you will find in time that a very powerful shift occurs in this energetic field that you are contributing towards. And the more people that engage in this practice, the more people that tap into this present moment, the more tangible this practice will feel. The more tangible you will feel the stillness and the effects of this practice. So you're not imposing anything on anyone else. You're not trying to change anyone else's experience. You're just tapping into your own experience. And as you do that, it's not really even a doing, it's a form of being, it's a state of being. As you become that, you'll find that things start to happen. Stillness starts to become part of the unified field. So listen to this person. How are they holding their posture? Don't feel you need to correct it. Just look at them, observe them. And don't forget yourself in this practice. Be aware that you are observing them. How are they holding themselves? How are they sitting? Are their feet placed on the floor, or are they on their tiptoes? Are they chewing on something? Are they looking at a particular object? Nothing is wrong or right here. It's just about observing what is their experience. How are they experiencing themselves? What sensory feedback are they craving for? Be aware of these things. Where are they going to get that sensory feedback? If they're chewing on something, if they're looking up at something or down or somewhere else, they are probably or possibly looking for some kind of sensory feedback. And you can provide that if you need to, if they need you to. You can provide touch if that is part of what needs to happen now. That's fine. But I invite you, if you are going to start to touch or engage in contact, that you be aware of your hand. Bring your awareness into your hand. Make every gesture and movement mindful. Make it count. So go slowly. Go very, very slowly with ease and grace. Don't feel anxious. Everything is supposed to be what it is. But if the child is okay to sit there with you in stillness without contact yet, then I invite you to carry on that way. But if you find that actually they might benefit from a massage or from touch, if that helps them to remain in this 50-50 zone, then you can do that. So we're all at different stages, people are doing different things by now. But whatever you're doing it with mindfulness. You're doing it with present moment awareness. You are aware of your own body and your own energy as you become aware of this other being whom you're sitting with. So embodied listening is this practice of, in a way, it's about melting into the other person, and the other person melts into you. You're cleansing your field, and perhaps that person will begin to radiate towards you because they feel your nervous system is more balanced. They feel that your breath is becoming more regulated. Strong science backs this up. This is not some abstract spiritual practice that can only possibly be practiced by yogis and yoginis and spirits. It's genuine science, that will back this up. As you tend to your nervous system, as you tend to your body and your breath, and you can only do that with some kind of awareness. As you do that, other people will radiate towards you because they feel safe in the presence of you, because you yourself are now a safe place, as it were. So you're listening to this person, but you're also listening to yourself. Simultaneous listening is going on. It's almost like your awareness is now pointing in two directions. Perhaps they will begin to look at you, to observe you, to listen to your breathing, if you're breathing deeply and rhythmically. So play with it, with awareness. Play with your awareness. And if you feel ready, and if you feel comfortable, if you feel as clear and radiant as you could possibly be in this moment, then you can perhaps begin to engage in communication of touch. So just be aware of your touch. Because the reality is that you're touching them, but they're actually also touching you, I mean, touch is a two-way thing. You might be placing your hand on their arm, but their arm is still touching your hand. So just imagine that this is not you giving something to them, and you're certainly not doing anything to the child. It's a two-way communication. So you might even find some comfort and ease in imagining that as you bring massage to the child is simultaneously bringing massage to you. It might feel comforting to place your hand on child's arms, or their legs, or their feet, or their head. So you're going to feel, you're going to tap into those sensations of your fingertips and your hands. You're bringing your awareness into your hands as you communicate. And that's going to look different for everyone. Because every child with PMLD is experiencing themselves in a whole different way to every other child with PMLD. Everyone is unique in that way. Not just with PMLD either. We're all experiencing our bodies and our minds in different ways. So some people will enjoy a foot massage, some people will really not want a foot massage at all, and that's okay. We don't need to be communicating with touch. We'd simply be breathing with the child, breathing deeply. For other children who feel sensory defensive or have an absence of sensory integration, then you could start to hum. You could practice humming. And that can be really soothing for some children. So as I'm talking you through this video and this practice, I'm inviting you to improvise. I'm inviting you to listen to yourself simultaneously whilst listening to the child whom you're with, and finding that sweet spot of communication. And the more that you tap into yourself physically and mentally, the more you will have an intuitive sense of what that child wants, what that child needs in this moment. It's not coming to you on an intellectual level. You're not going to think your way into this practice. It won't work like that. You could read as many books as you want about massage, about therapy. It's not going to help in this practice. Not necessarily. If you can't back it up with your own sense of your body. This is an embodied practice. It's called embodied listening for a reason. So you will begin to feel an intuitive sense of what that child will benefit from as you listen to yourself. How interesting is that? So you're listening to yourself, you're listening to the child, and you're meeting in that halfway point. It's called the sweet spot, or the halfway point of communication. So right now I'm sitting in front of this camera, and if I imagine that I'm not going to jump out of my body and out of my seat to try and get to the camera, I'm going to meet the camera somewhere in between. I'm not imposing myself on the other person. Neither is the other person imposing themselves on me. We're meeting in the middle. We're melting into each other. Once you reach that spot in the middle, where you're completely on the same wavelength of communication, you're completely on the same wavelength of energetic communication, then the self begins to dissolve. And then only consciousness exists. And it doesn't need to look like anything. Because magic really does happen when you practice this. And I can only hope that I have guided you towards that place, and maybe you're even there. And you'll know what it looks like and what it feels like when you're there. But I can only speak about it and perhaps share my energy with you as you continue this practice, hoping that you're somewhat there with another child or another person, communicating that energy in all sorts of different ways. Really listening deeply with your whole being. Your listening is internal and your listening is external. Every time you meet someone, carry this with you, carry this awareness. Not just escaping from myself, I'm not just trying to go towards this other person to escape from myself. This is not the practice at all. Quite the opposite. Using this practice to listen to the whole experience of yourself and this someone else. And this is the practice of embodied listening. And now I think I've said all that I can say about it. I hope that you found this somewhat interesting. It is a bit of a mysterious sort of practice. It can seem very abstract at first. Don't worry. Practice it again. See what happens. Explore it and explore yourself. It's a continual practice of self-exploration as well as the exploration of another. So I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. Continue to practice after this video ends if you wish, if you feel like that's what needs to happen. Alternatively, you can practice a Yoga Nidra with Alexis on the YouTube channel, or you can just listen to some calming music to absorb and reflect on everything that's happened in this session. Thank you very much for practicing with me, Alexis. Namaste.